WSTM TV, Syracuse. And now, Channel 3 News at 6 with Tom Miller, Roger Springfield on sports, and meteorologist Wayne Mahar.
If you find you're catching more colds lately, don't blame the weather or the person next to you for spreading a virus. The latest research shows a lot of cold-like symptoms are the result of indoor pollution at the workplace. Gray Robertson is in the business of curing sick buildings. His company, Aqua Atlantic, uses fiber optics to explore air conditioning systems in buildings. He often finds that air ducts are packed with harmful materials, including fungus, bacteria, fiberglass, and carbon monoxide. Once you breathe them, you could get sick.
Basically, the symptoms you would suffer if you get exposed to indoor pollutants would be very similar to those you get when you have a common cold. You'll get sore eyes, sore throats, a runny nose, coughs, tightness of the chest, headache, nausea, etc. If you seem to get recurrent colds all the time working in the same building, perhaps it's not a cold virus. Perhaps you're reacting to diverse types of indoor pollution in that building.
Robertson is touring the country, raising awareness about sick buildings. His studies show that once an air conditioning system is cleaned and maintained, workers become healthier and more productive.
WIXT 9 in Syracuse. From the WIXT 9 Broadcast Center, Rod Wood and Carrie Lazarus, Doug Logan on sports, and Rick Gary with weather. This is 9 Eyewitness News.
And later in this hour, hidden hazards to your good health in the home and in the workplace. If you've ever had the symptoms of a cold that just won't quit, you may not have a cold at all. Your sore throat and headaches could be caused by your surroundings, your home or office. Your building could be sick.
What's a sick building? Well, it has three symptoms: poor ventilation, poor filtration, and dirt in the ductwork. Sick buildings make people sick.
And people exposed to these suffer sore eyes, sore throats, headaches, coughs, tightness of the chest, general feeling of nausea.
And this is all just from the environment in which they're living or working?
Precisely.
Gray Robertson owns a company that diagnoses and cures sick buildings. He's in Syracuse to try and drum up business. As long as he was here, we asked him to check out Channel 9. Now, the building is less than 2 years old, but Robertson says new buildings are sometimes the worst because their windows don't open. Let's see how we fared.
Indoor pollution.
The newsroom right here, so we'll take you in.
Obviously, the building's fairly new, and there's no stains around the grills, which should be common in so many buildings.
If you saw the stains, you'd know.
Then you know immediately that whatever is in that ductwork is now spilling out. And
this is my desk.
Yeah.
How does it look to you?
Well, it looks a mess. No.
No.
Indoor pollution is invisible. Most of it you can't see. The only one you can see is cigarette smoke. So basically, just looking around here, there's probably a no smoking policy in here. You don't see any smoke.
No, there are smokers.
Well, that's good. That's telling us immediately that the ventilation looks pretty good in this room.
This is the sales office. These people make all the money for the station, pay our salaries. So.
One of the problems we've had in some buildings, in some federal buildings particularly, we had people who got a lot of sore throats and that, and we find it was textile fibers coming off this sort of material. Quickly dry up after a time, so, you know, if you've been open a couple of years, that it'd have stopped doing it by now.
Robertson wanted to check out the mechanical room, but the equipment was sealed off. He said it shouldn't be. For that reason, he couldn't be sure that our building is healthy, but...
First impressions, it's pretty important. So you've got a nice clean building.
Not a sick building.
Not a sick building, I don't think so.
Okay. Concerned about the health of your office, talk to your boss. Robertson says you should remind him or her that 50% of absenteeism is due to colds and coughs. So even though it could cost money to cure the building, in the long run, it could mean healthier employees and healthier productivity.
Curtis, Maureen Green, Susan Davies weather, and Mark Cooper on sports. This is News Center 5.
There's a rising concern over the so-called sick building syndrome, a building where inside air carries dangerous pollution. A new company out of Fairfax, Virginia, which deals in indoor pollutant monitoring, is spreading the word in Syracuse today, warning that indoor air may be hazardous to your health.
We're finding that perhaps well over 50% of all major buildings have many of the symptoms of a so-called sick building. The symptoms being people suffering from sore eyes, sore throats, headaches, tightness of the chest, nausea, etc.
Robertson says the cure to the problem involves improving airflow and making sure that air ducts aren't breeding grounds for the disease.